I'm not defensive about it.
Yes, people, what's happening? Welcome back to the channel and welcome to another Chelsea transfer news video. First things first, guys, make sure you smash the like, subscribe if you're new around here, all of that good stuff. And as always, leave your thoughts in the comments below. And in yesterday's live, I said, normally there's news on Mondays. And boy, have we got news. About to sit down, set up some work, and bang. Chelsea are in talks to sign Jamie Gittens from Borussia Dortmund. They want the deal wrapped up before the Club World Cup. Now, the Club World Cup transfer window runs from June 1st, so yesterday until June 10th. That is the period of time you have to sign players in time for them to be available to feature in the Club World Cup. Chelsea's first game against Los Angeles FC on June 16th in Atlanta. But the Telegraph with the exclusive this morning, Monday morning, that Chelsea, as I said, are in talks with Borussia Dortmund over Jamie Gittens and want to wrap up a deal before both clubs go to the Club World Cup. Now, the Telegraph adds that the England under-21 international, and again, I presume he's part of the England under-21 Euros squad, that if Chelsea signed him, then they'd be asking him to do the same thing as Liam Delap and put the Club World Cup before the European under-21 Championship. So he spent time in Chelsea's academy as a child. And of course, don't forget, guys, don't forget, because this is really important. He was also at the Manchester City Academy, because we are Manchester City 2.0. It's been expected to attract bids of more than £50 million with a release clause of around that value in his contract. So this looks like it's going to happen. Talks are going to accelerate today over the next coming days to get this deal wrapped up before June 10th so he can feature at the Club World Cup for Chelsea. Now, I've got to be honest here. I feel like this is very underwhelming. You know, I think he's a bit of an unknown quantity. You know, I've seen him in action for Dortmund. He's played in the Champions League. He's had a reasonable season this year. But it's just very, very underwhelming because considering we made Champions League football, our rivals are going for much bigger, higher profile names. We could have got Jamie Gittens with or without Champions League football. You know, this feels more like a calculated gamble as such, rather than, wow, Chelsea have gone in and signed, you know, a ceiling raiser, as it were. I mean, look, I could be totally wrong. And look, he's got potential, sure, guys. He's got potential to be better than what we have right now, but it doesn't excite me at all. You know, he's not an instant upgrade on our current options, which is what we need. You know, he's not an instant upgrade on our current options. It just feels like a market opportunity. You know, it just feels like a market opportunity. And I'm majorly disappointed when you look at £50 million on an England under-21 international who's not any better than what we've got. Yeah, there's potential there. Yes, he can play on the left wing. He can play on the right as well. You know, his shooting's not bad. He can beat his man. He's confident and whatnot. I get that. But again, this is another top prospect. When are we going to sign players who are actually going to come in and make a difference? This is my problem. Yes, okay. You know, 8 goals in the Bundesliga last year, not great. 4 goals in the Champions League, 50 million market value. I'm just not sure. And look, I get it. I get it. You know, that you're looking at it and you're sort of thinking, I hear it. You know, oh, you know, who's better on the market, people will say. Rodrigo staying at Real Madrid, Nico Williams wage demands, Garnacho, yeah, don't want Garnacho, don't want Leao or whatever. But what I would say is, right, because the Rodrigo thing is annoying, because we know that Enzo Fernandez, he kissed the Benfica badge 2 days before signing for us. If we don't get Rodrigo, we don't get Rodrigo. But I want to damn well be hearing that Chelsea are pushing to sign Rodrigo. Madrid want to keep him, but Chelsea are doing everything they can. Why are we not trying to get these players? I'm not saying that you have to get these players through the door or you will get these players through the door. Why are we constantly playing it safe with our transfer targets? I like the signing of Liam Delap. It's a safe signing, though. Gittens, you could have got Delap with or without Champions League football. Really, I feel you could have got Gittens with or without Champions League football. Where are these ceiling raisers that we should be going for now that we have Champions League football? It just feels like the transfer plans are exactly the same with or without the Champions League football. Now, obviously, when Gittens does come through the door, I will support him. I'll be on board with it. I'll support him like every player who comes through the door at Chelsea. But it's just so underwhelming. Who does he start on that left-hand side ahead of? Is he better than Madueke on the left? Is he better than Neto on the left? If Jadon Sancho stays, does he start ahead of Sancho on the left? Maybe this means that actually Sancho is going to be sent back. But it's another former Manchester City Academy player. Don't get me wrong. I like Joe Shields. He's been really good for us. He's helped us get Cole Palmer, Romeo Lavia. But what is the obsession with signing anybody who's been part of the Manchester City Academy? What a surprise. What a surprise that is. I'm sorry. I don't want to be negative about signings, but this just isn't it, guys. This just is not it. And for £50 million, I'll be real. I'd rather just give Tyreek George a proper go. Because if you gave Tyreek George the minutes that Jamie Gittens had at Dortmund this season, I reckon the numbers would be very, very similar. I don't think there'd be much difference in those numbers. Is Gittens significantly better than Tyreek George? Is it worth spending 50 million quid on Jamie Gittens? Is he 50 million pounds better than Tyreek George? Would you not just be better putting that money somewhere else and giving George a go? Surely that's a better way of doing things. Yeah, I get it. The market's not good, but why are you not trying for Rodrigo? Like I said, why not try and go for someone like an Ademola Lookman, for example? Why not test the waters of Nico Williams? Yeah, the wage demands are going to be high and whatnot, but at least try. Put an offer out there. Do something. We constantly hear, "Oh, Chelsea prepared to do this for the right player." Blah 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 blah. It's all utter waffle because it's all chat. Because the only action that we're seeing is the same action we've seen the entire time. Just signing players with high potential. No ceiling raisers. No one that's coming into the first team to make an instant improvement. We're going into the Champions League next season, right? And we would have added Liam Delap and Jamie Gittens. That doesn't scream to me that, oh, do you know what? Yeah, this squad's ready for the Champions League now that we've signed 2 further inexperienced players. He's raw. Yeah, there's a solid base to work with, but really, Chelsea? Really? I mean, I think Gittens and Sancho have the same agent as well. So I'm not be surprised if they're both pushing to sign for Chelsea. But even though you look at someone closer to home, look at someone like Brian Mbeumo. Why would you not look at going for Brian Mbeumo? 19, 20 Premier League goals this season for Brentford. What is wrong with going with Brian Mbeumo? Why would that be? Why couldn't we do something like that? Why wouldn't we look within the Premier League? This is what I just don't get. But I mean, look, it's not my decision. It's just my thoughts. But I just think this is so underwhelming, and it's someone we could have got with or without the Champions League football, guys. Yeah, I'm just disappointed, really. I shouldn't have expected anything different. But there was part of me that felt, do you know what? Now that we've got Champions League football, we might actually have aspirations to go for bigger names, ceiling raisers, guys that are going to make a difference. Not guys that are going to come in and just be the same as what we've got. Players that need time to settle in. Players that aren't going to be able to make an instant impact. Players that are going to need 1 or 2 years to settle in. Gittens doesn't make the first team any better. And you're going to spend 50 million quid on him. He's not even a guaranteed starter. And you're going to spend 50 million quid on him. Yeah. Honestly. And just on that City thing, I mean, let's just run through those academy players. Sancho come through at City. Palmer. Maresca was at City. Lavia. Delap. Gittens. Tosin. Joe Shields, if they're doing staff. And then some of the sort of the people in charge of the academy from Manchester City as well. I mean, what are we doing here? What are we doing here? Seriously. But yeah, guys, this is my thoughts. Chelsea in talks to sign Jamie Gittens. They want him in place for the Club World Cup. It's going to be around £50 million. Massively underwhelming. Smash the likes, subscribe. Let me know your thoughts in the comments. I'll catch you again in another one soon. Up the Chelsea, and we're out. Peace.